Hi ladies. I was working on or am working on a mixed media canvas, and some of the pieces that I'm going to be putting onto the canvas I made using these wonderful Prima molds that May is carrying in the Creating with Detail store. She's also carrying the air dry clay that goes with this. Now I'm waiting on my air dry clay to come in, but in the meantime, I wanted to just give you a quick little tip on how to use these and what you can use them for. I have used the air dry clay, which this is one of the pieces that I created using the air dry clay. And I don't know if you can see the detail or not, but in some of these areas it's chipped and cracked, and I did that on purpose. Because I wanted this to look really old. And the way I accomplished that with the air dry clay is I just took pieces. This is regular oven baked clay, but I just wanted to show you how I accomplished that aged look. Because with the air dry clay, if you don't really condition it and get it super conditioned, you can find little cracks, and that's what I wanted. So I just took pieces like this and put them into the mold. And when you're using any kind of, whether it be air dry clay or oven baked clay, you want to fill your pieces slowly. You want to try and get them as flat as you can on here, because that's what's going to be laying on the surface that you're going to be attaching these to. And the easier it is when you trim these, to not have to trim as much. You want to keep all of your clay on the inside of the mold. You're always going to have a little bit of trimming, but the more time you take right here, the less time you're going to have to spend trimming and sanding. I use an emery board to sand the pieces if they need be sanded after they're done. But I just simply take small pieces rather than try and take a big piece and, make it all fit. I just take smaller pieces and just keep adding to it until I the get them level with the mold. And there's little areas in here, like this piece right here. I don't know if you can see that or not. This little piece right here in the mold is the part right here where the little cherub's arm, you can't see that. Yeah, there you go. The little cherub's arm is. And that little piece in the mold, and the same thing down here at the bottom, you can see this little extra piece right here. That's so that there's an opening in the clay between the legs, and this is the arm that holds the shell up here. So you want to try and keep those as clear as you can. Whoops, I'm out of frame. And see, I'm just kind of pushing this around so that it stays even and stays within the shape of the mold. And all I do is just push this way with the clay into the mold. And like I said, you have to keep adding pieces this way to keep them level. But I found that taking the time here makes your finished piece so much better. And having to file and trim these pieces after you're done is just an unnecessary step, and you don't have to do it if you take the time here before you mold them. Now, like I said, this is an oven baked clay, and it works just as well if you don't have the air dry clay, or because the air dry clay does take several hours to dry for it to cure. If you're in a hurry and you want to make something, you can use this oven baked clay, because you have to, I think you bake it for like, I don't know, I think I baked mine for like 25 minutes um, at like 2 something. And then all you have to do is let them cool and they're ready to use. So as you can see, I am just taking little pieces and then using my hand to smooth this over. And there's a lot of different brands of clay, but I do like the texture of the air dry clay. It just lends itself to that vintage kind of rustic look more so than the oven baked clay. But like I said, if you're in a hurry, if you get this wild idea that, oh, I want to make this and I need those embellishments or that piece right now, you can resort to using the oven baked clay. But I have seen, and I have done, when I first started working with molds and clay, and you can see, you can just kind of smooth that off and push it in towards the edge so that you don't get any excess clay on the edges, and then just smooth it. As I was saying, when I first started playing with molds and clay, I just took a big glop of clay and smashed it in there and figured, well, I'll just trim it out. Well, you can do that, but let me just tell you, I spent twice as much time trimming, um, getting all of the edges smooth, waiting for it to dry, and then having to I use like an emery board to sand the air dry clay. I spent as much time trying to fix what I didn't have to if I had just taken my time the way that I am here, um, in doing the actual mold. You could do it that way, and if you don't mind spending the time, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I just prefer not to do that. So I can see right here I have a little dip. So I'm just going to add the clay and just kind of keep smoothing it out until I get it flat, because I want this piece to be able to lay flat. And one way I kind of tell if I need to add some more clay, because I want it level, and I kind of use this, learned this leveling trick from my husband who does carpentry work and in doing drywall, is, let me see if I can get this. Yeah. Take a piece of paper, and you can see on the edge of the paper, I'm trying to get this so you can see it, where you might have low spots, because you'll see a gap underneath where the light comes through on the paper. I can't get it to show up here, but it does work. That way you know when you unmold this, you have a perfectly flat piece, and that's what you want to be able to work with it if you're doing mixed media or whatever you want to use these molds for. These are perfect for um, household uses. Let me grab my mirror. I'll show you what I mean. Like for home decor, I have this mirror that I purchased from a local shop, and one of these pieces, you can trim this. I'll just show you with this other one that I molded. You can actually add these to enhance pieces that you may have, like this. You can add these right to it, and all you'd have to do is use something like E6000 or something like that. Picture frames, furniture. The uses for these are endless. Once you start playing with them and you look around, we all have those picture frames that, especially those of us who are shabby chic lovers, we would love to make that look more shabby chic. Perfect thing for this. I think there are 6 molds, 6 different styles. This mold right here, or this piece in the mold right here, that I did out of clay and then patinaed it. I'll do a separate video on on patinaing later on. Is that a word? Patinaing? On how to do patina. And I'll do a separate video on that. I just wanted to show you real quickly how wonderful these molds are, and encourage you that, you know, you need to get your hands on some of these and start playing with them, because like I said, these uses for this are endless. I have a whole list of things that I want to make or enhance or something, you know, in my house, because my husband and I are redoing our house, and we're going with that kind of rustic, shabby farmhouse look, and these molds are just perfect for that. So now I want to show you, I'm going to add a little bit more right there. Let's see, I've got a little piece right here. And see, you don't need a whole lot of clay. You just take your time and keep building it up so that you get it the way that you want it. And sometimes it is just nothing more than a little pea-sized piece of clay. So there I have it. I'm just going to run my finger along the edge. See, that was a little bit too high right there. So all I do it this way and smooth it out. Make sure that I've got no noticeable bumps, and just smooth it out so that it lays flat when you're done with it. Because I've made that mistake of thinking, you know, that looks pretty good, and then when I unmold it, it doesn't look so good. And I can see when I'm doing this that, so, you know, like there I had too much clay. So I'm just rubbing it one way and then rubbing it back the other way, just kind of going back and forth, and you can just tap that right off. Comes right off, and then smoothing it back out again. It's really quite easy, but right here I have a little, oops, out of frame again. I have a little spot that isn't quite even or level with the rest of it. So I'm just taking a piece of clay and just kind of squishing it thin between my fingers, and I'm just going to lay that right there where it was a little flat, and then I'm just going to smooth it out so that it's level with the rest of it. And as you rock it and smooth it with your fingers, it just sort of works itself into the rest of the mold. And then I just go along here and make sure that I don't have excess clay, or as little excess clay as I can have around the edges. And I want to show you how easy these unmold, how easy they come out of here. These are all like a silicone rubber. And as you can see, when you bend this, the piece releases. And then all you have to do is just very carefully flip it over, and there you have your piece ready for baking, or if you used air dry clay, just letting it dry. And as you can see, there's very few spots, like right here. I may have to sand that down a little bit once it's baked. And right here in between the legs, there's a little bit right there of excess clay that I don't really want in there. So all I'm going to do is just take, I use this long needle or whatever you have, and just push that into the leg. Just very gently, just push it and kind of roll it so you get that smoothness there. And anywhere you see that you have something like on the edge here, you just take your needle, or I've used like an orange stick that they use for manicures, or like, you know, to do your cuticles with. That works wonderful as well. So there you have it, ladies. That is just how easy it is. And like I said, the extra time that you take in molding the piece makes all the difference in the world in the finished piece. And I have used several different mediums in these molds, and I did not have to use a releasing agent of any kind. I have used hot glue. I have used resin. I have used air dry glue. I have used oven baked glue. I have used just everything, and you can see the condition of the mold is still perfect. And I've not had to put a thing in here like some of the resins, they have a resin release. And I have not had to use that because these molds are so flexible. You can literally bend them in any direction. It just makes releasing the molds super easy. So, like I said, ladies, I just wanted to do a little quick tutorial today to show you what I have been playing with, and these are going to be on a mixed media canvas that I'm working on. The ones that I showed you, these are going to be on there, and I will, like I said, do a tutorial later on how to patina these. Now this piece right here is not clay. Can you hear that? This is some of the unplated brass that May also carries in the store. I just like the shape of this. I'm not sure where it's going to go yet on the piece, but just to show you that you can patina almost any kind of surface, whether it be clay or metal or wood, you can achieve the same kind of patina just by using certain steps. And when I do the next video and showing you how to patina, I'll show you how I accomplished that and brought the unity to the different types of materials. So I also wanted to show you, I noticed right here on this piece what I was talking about with the needle. And this needle, May's probably going to kill me because this is one of the needles that May carries, and this is phenomenal for gathering and, you know, hand stitching because it's super solid. It does not bend, and it's long. It's easy on the hands, especially if you have like arthritis or something like that. But I'm just going to, I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit more. It's probably not going to be too clear because it's white, but right along here on this edge, there's a little bit of clay that I don't want on there. So I just take this needle and just very, very lightly go along the edge and just kind of roll and push that excess either off of there or back up into the piece. As you can see, it comes off. Where am I? It comes off very easily, just like that. And then when you're done, you've got a smooth finish. And as you can see, that was really, and in between the legs here was the only place that I really had to do any kind of trimming from the mold. And that's why I say it pays off to spend the time getting your mold done correctly. Then you don't have to worry about it. You can let it air dry, you can bake it, whatever you're using, it's ready to go when it comes out of the mold. So I hope you've liked this, ladies. If you do like it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and share. And until the next video, ladies, have a wonderful, blessed day. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.